So if you have not met me, my name is Amy Scheller, and I'm very excited to serve as District 7430 Public Image Chair. And I have an amazing and collaborative team, which you'll be meeting shortly. Our district governor tonight is at the Emmaus Golf Tournament, so he is going to try to join us as soon as possible. And if he's able to jump on, I will give him a few moments to chat also about public image. I hope that you'll be able to meet Len Geisler, our district governor, later on tonight. So welcome. Our framework for tonight, we have developed these quarterly public image forums to really be an opportunity to share information, but also allow discussion as well too. So you're going to get to meet. Oh, yep. If you do have your microphone on, I'm going to ask that if you'd mute them now, and then we'll be able to open up the microphones before our open discussion at the end. So you're going to get to meet the District 7430 public image team. We have a public image icebreaker. We're going to share lots of district resources and public image resources. There is also a contest that I hope that you will all share with your clubs and participate in. And then there's going to be plenty of time for open forum questions and discussions. We are really here to support you in growing your club's public image, and we want to hear from you. What are your challenges? What are the opportunities that we can help support you? So I'm very excited to introduce our district public image team, and I'm going to give them a moment to introduce themselves and chat about their expertise and skills. And we're very lucky to have past District Governor Janet Cullop join us on our team and serve. Awesome. Janet, would you please introduce yourself and also maybe chat a little bit about your role this year?
So I am so excited. I am also serving to support all the districts in our area as an assistant zone coordinator in the public image area. The thing I said for so many years has been there's nothing more powerful than the story we tell. So that is a lot of what I hope to do here. And we have great leadership and a great collaborative team. So there's a lot of opportunities to be telling our story and making an impact in our communities.
Thank you, Janet. We're honored to serve with you. I, again, am Amy. I am serving as the district public image chair this year. I'm very passionate about public image and sharing Rotary stories. Professionally, I own a video production company, so video is one of my skill sets. But I am a social media geek. So I love social media. I love using it to market fundraisers for Rotary and also spread our Rotary stories. Marlene.
My name is Marlene Heller. I'm with Allentown West Rotary, and I am their PI chair. And I have a background in marketing, communications, and journalism. And I love anything to do with the written word. I've been a writer and an editor for 40-something years. And I just love doing anything that has to do with writing, editing, and making pretty things on the internet. So if you have somebody in your club who's having trouble with it, I'd be glad to give a hand. I've helped out some clubs with their internet postings and happy to help out if that's needed. And I am working on the public image, I can't even think today, the Imagine Together newsletter this year for the Rotary clubs. And we'll talk about that later.
Fantastic. Thank you, Marlene. Gail.
Good evening. My name's Gail, and I am the past president of the West Reading Wyomissing Rotary Club, and I currently serve as their director of public relations. I also am pleased to be part of this team, and we really look forward to sharing information and resources, and also hearing from you about your ideas on how we can promote and share our Rotary stories. My background is in both media and public official relationships, so I blend that with social media, and it's really important we tell our story to those that don't know about Rotary and our community. So I'm really glad to be part of this fantastic team.
Thank you, Gail. Sean.
Hi, my name is Sean Barriana. I am the immediate past president for the Rotary Club of Bethlehem Morning Star. I'm currently serving as the public image chair for our club, and I've been on the district public image team for the last few years. So I'm really excited about this year because our district has really taken a great initiative to make sure that our identity is consistent. And that's something professionally. I work as a marketing and communications manager. So for me, branding is extremely important.
Thank you, Sean. Gwen.
Hi, I'm Gwen Carr. I want to thank Amy for inviting me to participate in this team. I've been a member of the Allentown West Rotary Club for 18 years. I'm also the co-project manager of the STEMIA program, and I'm also the lead for your district's training and development team. Professionally, I own a project management company, so I am interested in helping anybody who needs help with project management.
Fantastic. Thank you. Thank you, Gwen. And Mark.
Yes, I'm Mark Cole. I'm with the Norristown Club. Held a number of roles in Norristown in the club. I've been in Rotary about little over 10 years, and I'm excited to work with the PI team as I'm very interested in social media.
Thank you, Mark. You're going to hear more from our public image team in a little bit. So I'm going to turn it over to Gail, who is going to open with our icebreaker tonight.
Thank you, Amy. What I did put in the chat was would like to know a little bit more about you, your club, and also the Rotary core value that your club identifies with the most. We know all the clubs are unique and they guide our principles, but I've found that each club and Rotarian kind of gravitates towards one of the things in particular. And our core values, just for your reminders, are in service, which is the mission that brings greater world and understanding and peace. We have our fellowship, where we serve humanity that broadens both our lives and our perspectives. Diversity that reflects our business and community within our own members and within our community. Integrity as stewards of ethical standards and our resources in our interactions. And leadership, we are all leaders, and we also develop leaders in our community. So I'm hoping and looking as I go online here about from different people what your priorities are and what you think your club reflects as they create their brand and image to the community where you exist. So I'm looking here quickly. I'm seeing service is a lot of what everybody likes to do.
A lot of people are aligning with service. I also see some fun. Someone went a little rogue there, which is good. That's okay. Service and fellowship are some other answers there. Scott from Central Bucks says, I'll steal from my president and say service, fellowship,
Awesome.
and fun. Joanna from Montco, New Brittany says service and fun. Marlene from Allentown West, service. Karen from Warminster, service, lots of service, still more chats coming in. Deb from Pottstown, service. We handle about 10 projects critical to the local community. I'm going to read this one here. Tracy from Whitehall, formerly Bethlehem Downtown. We are a small but mighty club that likes to have fun, but our primary affiliation is with service and diversity. Bill Thomas from Fleetwood says service and fun.
So I can see we have a very diverse group of answers as they're coming through here of what your primary focus of your club is. And we know we always follow our four-way tests in our daily lives. But I have another question that I wanted to ask you. Now that you have an idea of what your focus of your club is, how would someone outside of your club or in the community describe what your club does or what Rotary is? That's why having a brand and having a public image is so important to the work that we're doing. So think about that as we go through the presentations that you're going to hear very shortly. And then how can building that strong brand public image align your club's priorities and also help the perceptions of others about Rotary? So with that, I'm going to turn it over to Janet, who's going to share some more stuff about the public image learning courses. Janet?
Thank you, Gail. I appreciate that. It's great to hear from everybody and what they think. And it's very true. It's important about what we think, but to the world, you know, it's what they think about us. So the Learning Center is an incredible resource. There are many modules in there. And so here on the screen, you'll see people that perhaps are professionals and do this as part of their work or their vocational life. But to do public image and to make sure our story is being told to the world, you don't need to be a professional. You can be what I call a practitioner. And the Learning Center is a great way to learn more about it and become a practitioner. So in the Learning Center, there are many modules. I'm going to encourage, if you are your club's public image chair, there is one module called Public Image Basics. And so I encourage you to do that. However, there's many people that says, why are we even paying attention to this? So there are modules that are as simple as building Rotary's brand, or what is our logo? And so this provides an opportunity to help our club members to better understand about public image. And in doing so, we elevate public image to be as important and as necessary to the system of working together with membership and growing Rotary, and Foundation is giving to the foundation so we can support the projects that we do in our club. So the Learning Center, please take a look. Amy, I think, is going to give you a direct link in the chat to the Rotary, to the Learning Center and to the area that is specifically for public image. You can take a look now or copy that down. We'll also be sharing that in a follow-up email so that you have that as well. So this is an opportunity with such robust resources for you to gain a better understanding about how to be a public image and a brand champion in your club.
Thank you, Janet. Yes, it's a great place to start. It's also a great place to give yourself a little refresher too, as well. All right, so we'll go to the Gwen. Do you want to talk about some other learning and development that's happening within our district?
Sure. Your district learning team sent out a survey in August, and we had over 190 responses to that survey. It was about Club Runner. So we have some good information from you about what you would like as far as Club Runner. So we have 3 sessions scheduled. The first is tomorrow night, and it's kind of a basic session. If you haven't registered yet, there's still an opportunity to register. You'll find out what is Club Runner, why should I use it, how to log in, how to find out contact information, sending emails. Then there'll be a little piece Amy's going to do about My Rotary. And then we have a more intermediate piece about how you actually can get Club Runner on your phone. There will be additional sessions. There's another one scheduled for January 24th and one in April as well. But that's not the only thing we're doing. We've also combined all the training opportunities, and they're going to be posted on our website. So you can see all the learning and development opportunities for the entire district. If you look on the district website under the section Learning and Development, you can see when Rotary Leadership Institute's taking place, the PETS activities, and all the other things that we have planned for this year.
Thank you so much, Gwen. Gail, so this is a really important resource, the Brand Center, and Gail is going to talk through what we can find at the Brand Center.
It is exciting. You know, they recently redesigned the Brand Center, and so it's now a central hub for photos, videos, templates, and other Rotary branded elements. With the redesign, I can honestly say I find it much easier than ever before to be able to tell the stories about our club service and impact and increase recognition for Rotary in our communities. So if you go to the website, what is really exciting, and I was going to say this to the end, but I'm going to tell you guys now, the great news is you no longer need to log in to My Rotary. You can access, yay, you can access the brand center now just by going to the link. So it is so much easier to navigate. Some of the improvements have streamed the layout into 3 basic sections. One is about brand, and then there's great tools about downloading images and things that you need, as well as templates that you can use so that you don't always have to create it yourself, but these templates are there for you to use. So it's a newer and faster platform. It also has much friendlier navigation and improved searches on what you're looking for. One of the greatest things I found is that they use the most up-to-date information, but then you can always look for the top downloads or the top templates, like what's popular now, or the boxes are labeled you might be looking for, which suggests places you can go, or you might be interested in. It also shares both good and bad ideas of things you should or should not do in using it. So I would encourage you to go and look at the site. And if you have any questions, please use it, because it will only help with prospective members and supporters to understand who we really are and promote the Rotary in your community. And with that, I'm going to turn it over to Sean, who's going to go into a little deeper dive about being a brand champion.
That's awesome.
Thank you, everybody. And thank you, Gail. Now, why do we want to be brand champions? Because we want
So
people who don't know about Rotary to be able to recognize us. Our image, the way we talk in the public, what people see in the public, and the most visual thing that we can possibly have is our logo. And the reason that we need a logo that's consistent is to have a consistent voice and visual identity that we can all share. So Rotary International, as you can see, we have the Rotary International logo. Very quickly, I'm going to just show you here on the PowerPoint. Our wheel of excellence is the gold wheel. It's the mark of excellence. We always call it the wheel, but it's actually called the mark of excellence. At one time, it used to be the wheel with gold and the blue in the middle. We're no longer using that logo, and we're also no longer using different kinds of logos that maybe we came up with years ago when our clubs first started. So we're all trying to use a very similar look. The examples that we have here are Kutztown's Rotary Club of Kutztown. On the brand, on the Learning Center, you're able to create templates where you can either put your club's name under the Rotary, the word Rotary, above the word Rotary, or where it would be the word club underneath and the actual club's name on the top. So there are actually 2 different wheels of excellence that we're able to use. And I'm actually going to have you go to the next slide, Amy. If you can see at the bottom, underneath the image, there's a simplified version of the wheel of excellence. And the reason we have a secondary wheel to use is because if you have something in very small print, it's hard to read. The regular wheel that we're all used to that has the registered trademark on it. But we want to make sure that whichever one you use, the simplified or the rotary wheel, you're really not supposed to be using the wheel on its own. It needs to have the Rotary Club's name with it. So as you also see in this image, if you're partnering with another organization or another club, or if you have a fundraiser, as in this case. This is called the lockup logo, which you can also create these templates in the Learning Center, in the Brand Center.
Yeah,
So-
and the brand center really talks you through, you know, what is acceptable, what's recommended with the lockup, and then also the club logos as well.
Exactly. One thing that you want to remember, you can do a full color logo. There are specific branding colors that they use. But what you have 3 different options. You can do a full color logo. You can do the white rotary with the gold wheel, or you can do actually 4 options: a full entirely white rotary with white wheel, and then there's the all black version. If you have a very colorful background, they suggest using the gold wheel with the white rotary lettering whenever possible. Try to use the full color whenever possible, but if you have a lot going on in the background, for example, if we had put the logo on the top of the runners, there we would have needed to use either the all white rotary logo with the white wheel or the white rotary wording with the gold wheel. So just to give you that little tip. Now, little checklist for you. Make sure when you're looking through where your logo is, if you have it on your website, the places where you should have it, I should say, your website, your club social media sites, any banners, event signage, signage including those located outside of your club meeting, where you meet, or on the city, any kind of city welcome signs. If you have flyers and brochures, any kind of apparel or promotional items, name badges, also any kind of trading banners or flags. So.
Awesome. Yeah, definitely put it everywhere. I'll just tell a quick story. Our Rotary Club has a big wine and beer festival. And we oftentimes forget to put our logo in all the places where people, you know, see this Taste of Kutztown Wine and Beer Festival. So they don't know that the Rotary Club puts it on. That's a big loss in expanding our public image. So we've been really trying to make an effort to put our logo on everything, all the posters and everything out there. Awesome. Perfect. All right, Marlene, come chat with us about our communications within our district.
Oops.
Marlene.
Here we go. Now you can hear me. One thing that we do a lot of in our district, or we did do a lot of in our district, is overload everybody with emails. So this year we're trying to do a lot less of that and streamline what we're doing as far as newsletters. So the district newsletter called Imagine Together is one newsletter that goes to everybody that focuses on news that's for the good of the district. In other words, this is not where you put your fundraiser for your club. This is not where you send information about what you did last month or last week. This is information about what's going on in the district that is of use for all of us. So for instance, Shelter Box will have some information in there. Rotoplast events belong in there. Information about STEMYA, because it affects all of us in the district. Your club information goes into our other newsletter, which we'll hear about in a minute. So this is just only information that is completely district-wide. If you make the mistake of sending me your information, of course, I will send it on to the Vibrant Club newsletter, and that's where that club information belongs. And we did this to keep it more simple, more easy to understand what goes in each one. And I think that you'll find that information that is just for the district is very useful for you and very informational, rich. You know, you'll look through it and you'll find things about your conferences, workshops, things that are coming up that are of use to you, things that Rotary International may come out with. We might find things that give you interesting ideas for club presentations when you're not sure about what kind of speakers you want to have. It's information rich for you. You can think of this as an information one, and the other one is a good place to brag as well. You know, it's just a good way to separate them. One thing I'd like to ask, though, for everybody who is in charge of their club newsletter is to please take a look at your mailing lists and see if you can clean up your mailing lists, because when you don't clean up your mailing list, then you and I and Lou and whoever's doing a newsletter, we all work from the same mailing list eventually on the district level. We work with your club mailing list because they feed into each other, and we don't get the correct stats. So when we want to know how many people are receiving our lists, are receiving our newsletters, and how many people are opening them, we're getting wrong information because your list may have a lot of people who are no longer in your district or in your club, who left 20 years ago or don't have correct mailing addresses or who have duplicates. And I can't clean up your list, you have to clean it up. And we just went through this in my club, and our stats went from 30% people opening up our newsletter to 60% of the people opening up our newsletter, which was really nice, a nice difference. So that's just a suggestion. And our deadlines for this newsletter are usually around the 22nd of the month. So that's a good date to keep in mind. If you have any questions, feel free to email me. My email is right there, marleneheller@com. I'll be glad to get your information earlier in the month. If you have it ready, just send it along. And I am happy to answer any questions at any time during the month. Don't feel that you have to wait for a specific time. And I'm done. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Marlene. I have the honor of introducing my predecessor, Lou Batita, who has, even though he moved out of our district to sunny Florida, he is still a resource of information and is always willing to help. So Lou, the floor is yours.
Thanks, Amy. Thanks, Marlene. I just put into the chat the email that we use for collecting contributions to the Vibrant Club News. And as Marlene so clearly stated, that the difference between the two newsletters, another big difference is that the district newsletter is monthly, the club newsletter is quarterly. So you need to plan ahead a little bit. And that really is a big purpose for the club, the Vibrant Club News, is to get the news out in advance about your upcoming club fundraisers or service projects or whatever you've got coming up that is where you could benefit from having help from other clubs, or just to give other clubs ideas about things that you're doing that they might be able to do in their community. The Vibrant Club newsletter is sent out through Club Runner as a bulletin, and it is in sync with the district calendar. So and that's another way for you to easily get your information into the Vibrant Club newsletter. We highlight major events that are on the calendar, and we have a link to that calendar every month and encourage the readers to connect to it. So as it indicates there, the next deadline is September 30th. In the past, we did try and look at social media to try and collect information from the clubs, but with with so many clubs in the district, that's really time consuming, and the format is always not conducive to take it out of social media and put it into the newsletter. So getting an email with separate photos and a separate text message makes it so much easier to put all of these stories together into one newsletter that everybody can enjoy. Also wanted to mention that we are looking for my replacement for next year. As Amy said, I've moved out of state. I'm going to be joining a club in Florida and doing some of this work for them, and leaving behind your district. So if anyone is interested in finding out more about what's involved or how to do this, it's only once a quarter, and it's very rewarding to be able to share all this information and to see what all the clubs are doing. So that's it for me, Amy. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Lou. We miss you tremendously up here in 7430, and I value your insights that you've provided. Thank you so much. All right, this next topic I'm very excited about. Mark, do you want to talk to us about our Facebook groups?
I sure will, Amy. Thank you. So they asked me to give a short commercial on Vibrant.
Mark call.
Can you hear me?
Yep, we can hear you. Yep.
Very good. They asked me to tell you a little bit about the District 7430 Vibrant Club's Facebook group, or the group formerly known as Rotary Caremongers. Caremongers came out of pandemic isolation when we were 100% dependent on digital discourse, and it was pretty successful at keeping communications flowing. But now we want to grow this group. So the team decided it needed a facelift, a new name, and new imagery. Vibrant Clubs describes our true goal. It's a place where anyone in the district can go, share ideas, events, projects. But better than that, it offers the opportunity to ask specific questions or present problems and gain collective input from 250, 500, or 1,000 Rotarians. It's far better than emailing your poor district governor and asking, hey, have you seen anyone doing this? I think of kind of a giant district water cooler where all are invited to talk anything Rotary. Today, the group has 250 members. Now we need you to share this resource with your club members and help us grow the group. In Facebook, you can find it by searching for the District 7430 Vibrant Clubs, or there's a cute little QR logo on the slide that you can stick your phone over top and take you right there. Please share this in your bulletins, your newsletters, and talk it up in your clubs. We'll all benefit. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Yeah, I'm very excited. There's already a lot of activity on that Facebook group. So jump in and join the conversation. Now, we also have a Facebook group specifically for your public image questions, discussions, and ideas to share as well. So this is a place specifically for District 7430 Rotarians that are public image focused. So you don't have to be, you can be a chairperson, you could be a team member, you could just be somebody who is a fan of public image. There is a lot of great resources in there, a lot of experts that chime in. So feel free to ask questions, but also share your ideas as well too. This is a place where we can all grow and learn about public image, and we have our QR code there as well too. So please scan that and join that group as well.
One thing I'd add there, Amy, is
Yeah.
that the work group is broken up into topics. So if you're looking for something specifically about tips on Club Runner, or tips on doing media blasts, or tips on social media, there's 6 or 7 different topics, and so you don't have to scroll 2 or 3 years worth of posts there. You can zero in on a topic of interest.
Thank you. That's great, Lou. Absolutely. That also reminds me there's files as well too.
Yeah.
So we used to put a lot of our, our presentations that we have done are in that file section. There's even a media list as well too in there as well. So there's a lot of great resources in there. Absolutely. All right. So I was going to announce our district governor before our Q&A, but I am actually going to go off script here, and I'm going to introduce him now at this this slide here, because this was his idea. So Len, I saw that you jumped on. I was wondering if you'd like to take a moment, just to give us a hello and a few words.
Len?
Hey Len, are you there? Len was out golfing probably all day today, so maybe he is taking a break, but this was his idea, a district banner design contest. If you were familiar with our current district banner that is up at our Mid-Atlantic Pets, at our district conferences, at any of our district events, if you have a keen eye to public image and brand compliance, you may have noticed that our pull-up banner is not brand compliant. So we are going to fix that. And Len had the great idea of having a banner design contest. So this is open to anybody within the district to come up with a new brand compliant design for our district that will be used at future events throughout the district. So it must be brand compliant, and we do have a Google Drive link that has our district logo that is brand compliant, of course. It also has in that Google Drive a distal fink. So that is something that is very unique to our area. So we want to incorporate a distal fink within your design. But you are also open to be able to use any other design elements that you think would represent our Southeast Pennsylvania district. So you can use any other content, be creative. All artwork must comply with Rotary branding and guidelines, and you can use the brand center for more information there. And designs will be judged. The deadline is October 31st, and here is the amazing news. The winning design, their club will be awarded funds to purchase their own new brand compliant banner. So you can win funds to expand your public image within your club by submitting a design and winning. So I hope that you all will consider putting together a design that represents our area and our district while still being brand compliant. And also please help us spread the word, because there may be somebody in your club that has a creative flair that might be interested in participating in this. So again, the deadline is October 31st. And we also have that Google Drive link. I will be putting that into our Facebook, our work group, our public image Facebook group. So I'll put this information, the flyer, as well as the Google Drive link that has all the elements that you need to really start off your design. Does anybody have any questions about this particular contest right now? Okay. Awesome. Well, I hope that you all will consider entering. I also wanted to, before we open up to our questions and discussion, I wanted to give you a slide of all of our district resources here. We have our district website, which the calendar is really kind of the place that I go to a lot, because you can really find all the events, the learning and development, the district-wide events. We also have a public image tab on our website too, as well, with a lot of resources. We mentioned our 2 Facebook pages there, specifically our public image Facebook group, which is really a collective community that we want to really grow. The more that everybody contributes, the more that we can really grow our public image within our clubs. And then our Vibrant Club Facebook group as well too, again, is an engaging group that can help grow your public image and grow Rotary within your club. And then lastly, we have a district YouTube channel with a public image playlist. So this is a playlist that has been curated of videos that we have made in the past, our public image team has made in the past, that has lots of great information about it, but it's also other videos of Rotary public image videos that are also relevant information there as well. So there's a public image playlist too, with lots of information there. Lastly, before we jump to our questions, please save the date for our next quarterly public image forums on December 5th, February 27th, and June 5th. We will be publicizing them in our Facebook group, on our district calendar, and in the newsletters as well too, with the sign up links there. But mark your calendars to save those dates, because these public image forums are just they're going to continue to grow, and we're really going to take the lead from you, because we want to hear what you have to say and what you're looking for from the district public image team and how we can support it. So these forums could possibly grow into maybe more workshops on intensive ideas that you're really interested in learning, or they could stay as discussions on various topics. So now it's time for our open forum and discussion. I just got a text from Len. He can hear, but he cannot talk. So I know that public image is one of his goals. It's really important in retaining members and growing Rotary. So public image is definitely on his topic, but he does say hello through his text message there. So hi, Len. Everyone say hello to Len.
Yeah.
Okay. Len, they are all waving. I know he's in the car. He's not, he doesn't have video, but they're all waving at you. So drive safe, and thank you for jumping in. So we are at the moment of questions. We have about 15 minutes or so for questions and discussions. And I'm going to turn it over to Gwen first to see if there was any questions within the chat box that we should jump to first. If you have a question in person, please feel free to raise your hand. There's a little raise hand icon, and we can come to you. Gwen.
We don't have any questions so far, but I have a question. So what do you do when other committees within your club sort of go rogue and they start using old logos on materials?
Yes. So I'm gonna pass this first to Janet, and then if anybody else wants to jump in. But Janet, would you like to share? Because I've heard you speak of similar topics to this in the past.
Well, thank you. So I think that one of the best ways to be challenged by those rogue people is to model the correct way and offer assistance to create the logo. We all know, we heard from Sean, how easy it is to create the logo in the brand center. So I think that creating a logo and offering assistance is a great way to do that. And in sending them to the Learning Center, we were talking about it. The very basic module that's in the Learning Center is why public image matters. And the Learning Center says it in ways that I'm not sure that we're even able to share here. So 1 is model good behavior. 2 is offer to have assistance with somebody else. And then 3, actually ask them to take a look at why it matters.
So we do have a question. Thanks, Janet. I appreciate that. I think those are 3 good steps. We do have a question from Carla. And her question is, when Facebook changed to Meta, it doesn't allow sharing by tagging. It wants you to pay to boost your post. Is there a way around this?
Carla, are you able to go unmute? I'd like to ask a follow-up question. So what do you mean by sharing by tagging?
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Like if you're posting a picture and you want to put the people's names in there, it used to go over to their page then, but it doesn't do that anymore. You can't do that. I did that, but it won't move to their page. It stays in the Rotary Club of Slatington's page.
Oh, okay. So what I do, my process with Facebook is what I do. I'll tag the people within the post sometimes, or after I post, or sometimes as you're posting, I'll open up the picture and actually tag them in the picture. That way it'll notify them that they have a tag on there. I will also say, in probably the recent years, people have become a little bit more conscious of their privacy and have turned off automatic tagging. They don't allow people to tag them in photos.
You can only tag people that you're friends with also.
Yes,
So-
yeah, that you're, yeah, so it may be something with a privacy thing, with that on their end, that you're not able to tag them.
Okay.
Yeah.
Amy, can I say something additional?
Yeah.
So this is something else in how we communicate with our club members. And so as we're trying to elevate the presence of public image, is openly communicating with your club members and telling them that you're going to be tagging them, and ask that when they're tagged to allow that on their page and notify them. And it is an extra step because it doesn't automatically happen. But if they're aware they're going to be tagged, if they're showing up for events, they can get in the habit of doing this. So I think it's a matter of communicating with them the intent. And when you do this work in your club, let them know what you're doing, and ask them for their help in making sure that continues to spread the word.
Yeah, you could even, if they're against tagging, you could even ask them to reshare the post.
Mhm.
You know, when they see it come, you know, encourage them to follow your page. And even sometimes Rotary members don't even follow their own club's page. So following their social media channels, and then ask them to engage on the post, you know, whether it's a comment or a like. And then the step further would be having them share a post, you know, with their own thoughts and their own story of that event. That's really gonna, that way is really gonna expand out and reach the most followers there.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks, Carla. That's a great question. And I think the follow-up from Janet and Amy was good. I think we're all concerned about privacy and tagging and sharing now. So I think those were some good comments.
Thank you.
So we
And
talked,
can-
sorry.
Gwen, could I add one thing there before
Sure.
we go on to the next question? As we're talking about Facebook, one of the things that I have found that's been working really well is within your text. Let's say you have a speaker, or if you have somebody else engaged with your club, or you're doing a community event. If you link to them in your text, they will be able to pull it over, and it pulls up onto their web page, and the external audience gets more information as well and can repost for us.
Great tip, Gal.
Good tip, yeah. Any other questions? So I have another one. So, okay, we use social media, but have we actually been able to entice some other members onto our websites, maybe non-Rotarians, by using Facebook, by using social media? Anybody have any experience with that? So Sean.
So,
Is that?
as you were saying about sharing it with other people, the best way is to have your current members share it onto their personal Facebook pages. So something that the district or that your club has shared, because then everyone that they touch on their pages will now see it. And you're going to see the likes grow, the engagement grow. That's how we've been able to do it for our club. Sometimes it grows very slowly. You know, it's not going to be virtual. You know, you're not going to have, it's not going to go over, you know, overnight. You're not going to have 1,000 people following you, but, you know, it grows very slowly. And be very consistent in your posts that, you know, your once a week post isn't going to do it. You have to post multiple times a week.
So you mean if I just post once a month, once a week, I'm not going to have 100,000 followers?
No.
Not going viral. I always like to say, so social media is social. So you have to engage as a business page, as a Rotary page. You are that identity. So a lot of what I do on social media is I'm engaging with other community organizations as Kutztown Rotary. So not personally as myself, you know, but as Kutztown Rotary has a voice online and is engaging and encouraging other community organizations in our town. I also make sure I always comment back if somebody, you know, takes the time to comment on your social media, comment back and, you know, thank them, engage with them. It's a social, you know, it's a social network. So it can't be one-sided where you're just pushing out stuff and expecting people to join you. You know, you need to make that connection from your page.
So,
When,
yes, yes.
one of the things that we started doing about a year and a half ago, and I don't have any measurable results from it, but certainly one of the things that you see on Facebook all the time are birthday greetings. And we created a graphic that says happy birthday, and then it has the Allentown Rotary logo on it. So we're letting everybody know that that person is a Rotarian. And maybe they didn't know that before. And we're in there with, all their other friends and neighbors, relatives that are wishing them a happy birthday.
Yeah,
I
that's
love that idea.
We could do that for anniversaries too, even Rotary anniversaries.
Yeah.
So let's go beyond or other organizations. How about other clubs? How can we get other clubs linked to us? Any ideas about that?
I'm going to suggest the same thing. If you want other clubs to engage with you, you have to engage with them, and support their posts. And I'm such a big believer of community over competition, and that a rising tide lifts all boats. So if you're helping your neighboring Rotary Club with public image, it's going to help you, because there's going to be a friend that maybe doesn't live in that town that, oh, I'm going to look up Rotary in my town, and they'll, come across you.
So one of the nice things I think is if we have an event in Allentown West, I notice some other clubs will post on their website as well. For example, Whitehall's been a great supporter of our events. So perhaps there's another way to do it. So thoughts about that? Anybody tried that?
The only thing I will mention, and I can't explain it except that maybe it's the in thing for younger people. We've got more followers on our Instagram page than we do on our Facebook page. So Instagram is certainly a way that certainly that and LinkedIn, I think, are two places to try and work towards membership growth and recognition. Promote yourself, tell your stories there.
Yeah. And Janet has made the point in the chat that LinkedIn is a powerful media outlet to engage another audience to share our stories. So let's not just look at our own navel, let's look around a little bit.
I would also ask Gail Landis if she might speak a little bit about getting our local small newspapers and media outlets. You have had some success in that, and I think that there is real opportunity because it becomes integrated in some of the social media work then that we can do.
Thank you, Janet. Yeah, there is another opportunity for us. I do it in two steps. We also did one when we did our day of service last year, where we jointly created a media alert and then followed up with a news release that could be customized by each one of the clubs. We shared that among our region so that that it went out on a personal basis, but also on a global basis. So a media alert is as simple as just reaching out, and we do have a media list that we're developing and growing that will be shared. And I think if it's just telling when the event is, who's holding it, what it's about, very short. Hope somebody from your news desk or a local newspaper or even your online newsletters like Berks County Community Television, other local community televisions, they're always looking for a story, or your local neighbor magazine might be looking for a story. So you make that connection, and then if they don't come and cover it, you follow back up with them with what I call a news release with some photos that they can then publish. So there's templates for that also in the brand center, but we also are happy to share them with anybody who needs a template to do that. But once you get them engaged, we had it with our little libraries. We had it with the day of service. It was great to see the types of coverage and the awareness that the greater community, including even some of our elected officials, followed up with us and said, wow, we didn't know you were doing that. And it actually helped West Reading and Wyomissing Club build our relationship with our two local municipalities for future service projects.
Thanks, Gail. So Leanne makes the point, it becomes very hard to do this a couple times a week when you're also working and doing your own business's social media. But Amy has a suggestion. You want to talk about your suggestion, Amy?
Amy, I am aware of your suggestion. I do that for a living. And that's how I know that what you're asking someone who's the only person doing the social media, when you say, oh, you've got to do it multiple times a week, that's a pie in the sky when you're doing that so much already for your own business. A content calendar helps, but only in that it helps you locate what you need to now go and produce for that day. And you have to be prepared to change it on the fly should, oh, I don't know, the queen die. Things like that.
Yeah, I would say that it's, I mean, it's a goal to try to post multiple times a week. I'll be the first to say that sometimes there's some weeks where I can only get one out because I manage too many social media accounts. I'll just tell you that. I manage a lot. So I feel you. I would also suggest batching content so that you're not creating one piece as it goes out and this is, for everyone in the room to batch it.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, Hootsuite is really, really good and it's free if you're only doing Instagram and Facebook, maybe Twitter or LinkedIn. Like if you're only doing 3 of the 4 or 5 major social media outlets, it's free. You can't beat free. Free is good. And they have a calendar so you can see what you're missing. But yeah, it's setting aside that time. And it's just, and I don't know, how do you get other people to not be afraid to participate with you so that it's not on your shoulders, especially if you're not going to all of the events. So you can't even begin to talk about who is there, who the people are, none of that stuff. It's really, really difficult.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, if you have people that are interested, I definitely think that social media is a teachable skill. And I think that you could divide up, the portions of your social media into different tasks. Maybe one person can post about the upcoming meetings. Another person can post about, do the events on social media. So if you break it down maybe into smaller tasks, I think that's a challenge that a lot of clubs are feeling though. So it's probably a universal challenge for people. And does anybody else have any other suggestions? Feel free to jump in.
I was going to mention, you can also curate content from other clubs from the district. You don't have to come up with a story immediately. If you don't have a story directly from your club, you can go through RI. Rotary International has some great stories that, really are very empowering. So it doesn't have to be something original. It can actually be something you pull from another Rotary group.
So we have 2 more comments on our chat just before we end. And Tracy says she found that, especially with smaller papers, they can't really always send somebody out. And I know that with press that we have locally here, and Marlene knows that as well. So I think what Marlene does and what we've done in the past is we follow up with photos and article that they can publish. So that's one way of getting your information out. And Sean makes the point that time of day when posting social media is very important. Facebook and Meta allows you to schedule posts in advance and gives you some suggestions of times to send. So I'll turn it back to you, Amy, for any last comments and see how people feel about tonight's event.
Great tips, everybody. Thank you so much for jumping on tonight. Again, this is just a jumping off point for us. We really want to hear from you and how we can support you moving forward in this year in growing public image, whether it's more intensives on certain topics that you want to hear about, or if you want, more of these open forum question and answers to kind of talk about your challenges and opportunities and share ideas. We want to hear from you. So thank you again. I will be sending out the link and resources. I'm going to leave you with one simple public image tip that I heard from my cohort in a neighboring district, Lisa Leonard, is very simply, this is something that everybody can do when you're talking about Rotary: smile. That really matters because that contributes to our public image. How you talk about Rotary to your friends, to your family, that shapes their public image of our clubs and Rotary. So simply smile when you talk about Rotary. Thank you all so much. Everybody have a great night. Thank you.
Guys.
Thank you, Amy.